Hey, what is going on, SMT Nation? It's your boy, the SMT. T-Mobile Investor and Analyst Day is complete. For the most part, we mostly know everything we need to know about what T-Mobile is going to be doing moving forward with the network, with their 5G networking plan, what's been going on with the synergies in the merger between T-Mobile and Sprint, how that's been helping their business and enabling them to do more and optimizing what they can do as a business. We've got information on the home internet product. We have information on the 5G networking, the N71, the N41, how they stack up against the competition. A lot of questions came in at the end. We really needed more. These Zoom and virtual meetings and these big productions, it's just not the same. I saw some people tweeting about that, and it's just something that that we're dealing with right now. But hey, at least we got a decent amount of insight about the networking, the business, and most importantly, consumer information. Let's get things started first by breaking down the content of this video. We're going to be looking at the synergies with the Sprint merger. We're going to be looking at the 5G networking, and then we're going to be looking at the business side of things with the customers. So the emphasis, obviously, with synergies and N41, and then deepening customer relationships. This was being repeated over and over by Mike Sievert, and it really sticks out in my mind because I kept hearing it. So what we're talking about here is more revenue streams, increasing the ARPU at T-Mobile, the average revenue per user, or really what it is ARPA, the average revenue per account. How much money can the customer spend at T-Mobile? So they're trying to increase the breadth and the depth of the customer relationship between T-Mobile and their customers. Basically, they want to get you buying as much from them as possible and, then becoming more profitable in that way. So trying to convince investors to bring their money to them was really what this day was all about. They emphasized 5G leadership. They mentioned N71 a couple of times. They really focused on the N41 2.5 gigahertz as a big piece of what they're doing currently and moving forward. They did speak to C-band a little bit. And there was obviously a big obsession with what Verizon Wireless is doing as the market leader and, in 4G LTE and obviously with their investor day yesterday. So to get things started with the content, we've got synergies. Okay, so we're talking about the T-Mobile and Sprint merger combination. They're saying that the synergies are paying out faster than they initially expected and the gains are accelerated, but also that they're reaching a lot higher. So the ceiling seems to be improving. The run rate cost synergies, what was initially expected to be $6 billion, they now see a potential of $7.5 billion. So this basically improves the value proposition of what they could potentially do with the merger at the end of the day. So that's really good. I'm sure investors are happy to see that. Those that have already invested in the company are probably excited about that as well. Now with the home internet product, some of the information we see from the T-Mobile home internet is Mike Sievert referred to it as 4G limited pilot. So obviously, we've called it a pilot up to this point. Nobody has really, considered it to be a finished product that is grand scale launched. So he confirms that in the year 2000, they did hit the 100,000 households that have the T-Mobile home internet pilot. And they were saying that by 2025, they plan to be between 7 and 8 million households with the product. And then Mike Sievert expanded on this, saying that a real 5G home internet performance metric will be there, and that will be as early as this month. So for those of you that have been using the T-Mobile home internet product and have been doing so mostly connecting to 4G LTE, these upgrades as they happen, as the N41 and the N71 upgrades happen, you're going to start to see a big change in your experience with the product. So that's something to be excited about. And he did tease this, kind of saying that maybe there's something grand scale, something big coming in the form of upgrades to the networking there for the home internet. So good to see there. Let's transition over to 5G networking. This is a big emphasis of what we do here on the channel. And obviously, what they do as a company. So 5G networking wise, the N41 is a big goal for what they're doing in 2021. 200 million pops or points of presence gives you an idea of the scale of what they want to do here with N41. By the end of 2022, they want to be at 250 million pops in the N41 2.5 gigahertz. They want to be covering 90% of Americans by the end of 2023. So again, they want to do it with pace, and they want to do it with a lot of coverage. They're going to increase channel depth. They said that currently, and this is Neville speaking, currently the average bandwidth depth is 60 megahertz for N41. They want to move to 80 or 100 megahertz in many, many more markets this year. So they're going to continue to do that. That's a work in progress. They did speak to the macro sites, the tower sites that they have, 85,000. Thousands of new sites will be built. They didn't give any exact numbers. They said thousands. And then, kind of interesting, they mentioned small cells. We haven't heard or seen anything as it pertains to small cells for T-Mobile, but they indicated 50,000 small cells. I'm not sure if that's like an end game of where they want to end up with that many small cells or what they currently have in combination with it, but they did mention that all the networking updates do pertain to LTE and 5G included. So outside of that, some of the other networking news that we got in updates was the carrier aggregation of N71 and N41 combined. That was mentioned, but there was no great detail about it. But they said that they will be leveraging the N41, N71 inter-carrier aggregation to improve the N41 range and to improve the edge cell performance. So it looks like they are acknowledging that the N41 is not a perfect technology, but they can make it better by improving its range through this technology. No mention of millimeter wave at any point. I did hear Neville say layer cake at least once, but no mention of millimeter wave. So if you were looking for some kind of update, I know some of you out there do like millimeter wave technology and you wish that T-Mobile would do more with it. It's not really a major thing of what they want to do. A little bit of N71 news. They said that they want to reach 300 million pops by the end of this year. That'll cover 97% of Americans by the end of 2022. And that migrations with the Sprint side of things will be done by mid-year 2022. At that time, we'll see a complete CDMA shutdown in that year. T-Mobile downplayed C-band. They said we only really need it in situations where we currently have the tower density that it requires. So, again, this drives home the point that T-Mobile is absolutely terrified of tower density. They don't want anything to do with having to, further densify their network unless they absolutely must, right? So areas where they don't have much coverage, they're willing to put up towers. But in areas where they have some coverage, they just want to make do with what they have. Now, I've commended T-Mobile in the past for always trying to do the most with less, get the most squeezes out of the lemons. But when it comes to 5G, the name of the game is going to be tower density. At some point, they're going to have to truly address this. I'm not sure if I'm really buying what they're selling there. Now, Verizon has the tower density. Verizon claims that they have it right off the bat, which I think in most markets, that's actually probably true. All right, wherever Verizon has that tower density, you're going to see mass upgrades of C-band. And, that's just the way it is. Verizon has built a very densely fortified tower grid in many of their markets where they have high market share. That's all ready to go, right? That's what they have. That's what they've done. That's not the case for T-Mobile in many markets. In some markets they do, and I think that's the connection. In the markets where T-Mobile has incredible tower density, that's where they seem to be wanting to do the C-band. So it makes sense, but let's just call a spade a spade. They kept bringing up the fact that C-band requires so much densification, so much more than the N41, basically trying to say that Verizon is not competent or is ill-equipped to build out a proper network. I don't know what to say anymore at this point. Verizon clearly does know how to network. They have an incredible network. They have some of the best performing networking in the country. I don't know. It always seems like they always go back to this thing where they try to put down other carriers to show how incredible they are, but it's just not the reality of it. Verizon does incredible networking, and T-Mobile continues to try to utilize that as some kind of a marketing tool. But something that was interesting, T-Mobile mentioned the cost per gig of deployment when they talked about networking, and they said that they were going to deploy networking at half the cost of Verizon and AT&T. So that being said, it looks like T-Mobile will have the best network of all time, and nobody else really matters. But hey, it was an incredible, investor meeting. T-Mobile knows how to put on the show. Remember, they're trying to convince investors that they are the company to invest in. Bring your money here. This is the best thing you could do. So you have to take it with a grain of salt. but we did get some key insight on the 5G networking and their approach of what they're going to be doing moving forward. I've got more details for you guys tonight with the podcast, so make sure that you are subscribed and you activate the bell notification icon so you know when I do go live, and I'll do a deep dive into all these different angles and aspects. Who knows, maybe we'll bring on some guests and we'll do the whole round table of it. So let me know what you think of all these pieces of updates from, Mike Sievert, Neville Ray, the executive team over at T-Mobile. I'd like to hear what you have to say. The voice of the people, the SMT Nation. Let your voice be heard. Thank you for taking this opportunity to watch the SMT YouTube channel. If you appreciated this video, give it a like and a share to all your favorite social media platforms. Thank you in advance for that. Also, check out some of the links in the description box. We have the SMT Patreon page. We also have the Twitter handle at SneedTech. And do check out the audio-only podcast available on all the major podcast platforms. And if you are new and have not subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and activate the bell notification icon so you never miss an upload from the SMT. We'll catch you on the next video. Peace.